So on this channel, I talk a lot about momentum and the purpose of just getting started, getting the ball rolling. Because so many young people, so many of us spend all of our time in our heads and not much like actually engaging in the real world and making things happen. But what do you do if you have no idea what you want to do? You have no idea what you like or what you're good at. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you a few things that you can start on today that will apply to literally everybody. And it comes down to this understanding. You see, people are a lot like cars. Cars, you have to maintain them. There's certain things that you have to do to them for them to like maintain their functionality. You know, oil changes, keeping the tires pumped, keeping the internals like relatively clean. And when you do these things to a car, it helps it perform at its best. It doesn't make the car any better. It just helps the car do what it's supposed to do. The same thing goes for people. There's certain fundamental things that every single person is going to need to get relatively good at in their life that is going to level up their performance in every single way. And in this video, I'm going to share with you these 4 things and how you can practice them during your gap year to become, well, A, remarkably happy with yourself. It's going to make yourself a better brother or a better sister. And most of all, it's going to put you light years ahead of everyone your age, because realistically, people don't think about this stuff until like their late 20s. So without further ado, let's talk gap year. Now, the first thing to get good at is learning how to take care of your body. Now, all of us, we all have bodies and they're super important. And when we think about taking care of them, we often think about like becoming a bodybuilder, becoming that fit Instagram model. But I think there's a better way of thinking about it. The thing is, like, our body is a reflection of our mind. If you eat crappy food and your gut biome's all messed up, of course you're gonna have every single anxiety and depression disorder because your body's just out of whack. So learning how to cultivate a strong relationship in our bodies is key to just having a very clear focus and to eliminating a lot of the BS and stress that people put on ourselves. I mean, this is a lifelong process, understanding this relationship with your body, but putting in the effort now to learn it is super critical. I break it down to like 2 kind of parts, if that makes sense. The first part is, well, understanding what you enjoy eating that makes you feel good. For me, it's a lot of sauerkraut, a lot of sausages, it's a lot of salads. I like to grow my own like little sprouts. And this is stuff that's taken me literally years to learn that I can live off of sauerkraut and sausages. What are like healthy foods that you can eat that are good for your gut biome that you can start eating today that are relatively cheap, that'll level up your headspace? And the second is figuring out like something you can do with your body to be healthy. So for me, turns out I'm just a natural runner. When people talk about naturally being good at things, I didn't think I was naturally good at anything until I stumbled onto running. It's kind of my own unfair advantage, and I really enjoy doing it. Like that and jujitsu bring a lot of joy for me. What are those things for you? Do you have a lot of like physical hobbies that you're maintaining and doing regularly? Because if not, finding these things that you like eating and finding things that you like doing physically is a great way to spend your gap year, because it's just going to make you more effective in whatever you decide to do in your life. So that's the first fundamental thing you can work on. Now, the second big thing you can work on is people skills, because no matter what, wherever you end up in life, you're going to have to deal with new people and maintaining relationships. When you think about getting dropped into a country by yourself, or going to a party by yourself, or the first day showing up at a new job, how nervous are you? This nervousness is like a symptom of like a social anxiety. Now, the reality is I've had this stuff for years and years, and the way it manifests in me is through like trying too hard. You know, when I get nervous, I'll start making too many jokes and I'll start proving myself just a little too much. But the reality is, like, I haven't met you before, but I already like you. And everybody else is thinking the exact same thing. Learning people skills, well, it is a skill. Like this charisma thing isn't something that you're born with. What it is an understanding that people already like you and you having to like remember that you're okay and that we accept you. Taking like deliberately going out and taking social risks and getting good at this stuff, getting good at meeting new people is a fantastic way to spend your time. Because again, no matter where you end up, there's going to be other people there. And being able to, you yourself, be well received is going to be so big. Now in the description, I'll link a couple of videos from these RSD guys that I think are really helpful, that are going to help you level up your relationships with random people that you meet, and it's going to add so much value to your life. So you're going to want to check out those videos after you watch this one. But for now, let's move on to number 3. And the third fundamental thing you can work on is your relationship with money. Now, the world runs on money. Whether you like it or hate it, it's the best way we've come up with of deciding how we exchange value. And the most important thing to do with it, that any well-off person will tell you, is to either save and invest. But there's a problem. Both those are really fucking boring. It's not exciting to learn about finance and interest rates and this and that. So I'm just gonna boil it down to like 2 things that you can walk away with. And I'll point you towards a book that I really like as well that's gonna be of a huge help to you. The first thing, let's talk about saving. Saving sucks. There's a really easy way of going about it. I'll probably make a video on this on its own because I think it's incredible. What you can do is create another bank account, a savings account with an online virtual bank, and have this bank account automatically withdraw money from your main checkings account like once a week or once a month. And you can decide that number to be like a percentage of your paycheck. So now versus like dragging your money from your checkings account to your savings account, you just open your bank account, you're just more and more broke every single day. So you stop spending. But the reality is that money's getting tucked away for you to use later. When we talk about investing, it's tempting to, jump on the Warren Buffett train. Again, because compound interest, like choosing companies, making evaluations. But here's the reality. Earning a 10% return a year, investing in the stock market, is incredible. That's a gold standard. That's what people aim for. So over the course of a year, your $100 investment turns into $110. If you're good, if you're lucky. That's super shitty. Like that's nothing. There's a million other ways you can spend that money. One thing people online will talk about is just taking the time to invest that money in yourself, because it's the best investment you can make. So rather than putting $100 into the NASDAQ, why not buy that course on how to be a better photographer, or that course on how to use like Excel better? Because that skill set, do you think it's going to earn you more than $110 this year? Of course. Save your money in one of these automatic savings accounts. That's big, but then use those savings to invest in courses so you can earn more money down the line. And then once you're in your 30s or 40s and you're making bank, that's when it makes sense to be earning these small returns every year. Next, develop a strong relationship with yourself. Here's the thing. Everything you have right now, the friend group that you might have, the house you have, the job that you kind of like at the moment, at one point, all of these things are going to be taken away from you, be it because friends move away or some extraneous circumstance pulls you away from them. And all you're going to be left with is yourself. Now, that can feel terrifying. And it's why most people, look nonstop on their phones, because they just can't take a second to be alone. So if you have no idea what to do during your gap year, Focus on developing a strong relationship with yourself and thinking positively of yourself. Now, how do you go about doing this? Like, that's a very easy thing to say. How do you go about doing it? Well, it's a combination of things. The first and like the most practical thing you can learn is meditation. Everybody should be learning meditation. It will make you oodles happier. And all you have to do is sit down by yourself and do absolutely nothing every single day. So that's like a baseline habit that you can start to learn this year. So I guess the second thing to do is to learn to live with fewer distractions. Stop distracting yourself from yourself. One thing I've found myself doing lately is turning off my phone before bed. And then I wake up with like an alarm clock and I just don't turn on my phone until around lunch. So that way I know I have that undisturbed time to be the meest me. You know what I mean? So many of us are just so distracted and in 8 places at once that when you just put things down and start really focusing on what's in front of you, you'll find yourself being remarkably happy. Now, this video is about momentum, about things that you can just start doing today if you have no idea where to start on your gap year. Now, maybe you want to do something that feels more meaningful. Well, lucky for you, I made a video called Questions to Ask Yourself Before Taking a Gap Year. So I'll give you a couple questions, some things to mull over that might help you find avenues to explore during this time to yourself. So you're really gonna want to check out this video. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.